Now that we have created the basic scene, we're going to go back and add some event handling. What we want to be doing is finding a way to control our main guy. And so we're going to look for some key press events and use our arrow keys to control him. So we're going to add event handling. So we're scene.set on, set on key pressed. I'm going to create an event for key pressed, and this is going to be a new event handler key event. And when I get this, notice the first one that comes up is java.beans. Make sure you don't click that. We're going down to the third one, JavaFX event. Then when we come up there, it's going to tell me, or should tell me I have unimplemented the event from Java scene input. I need to then add an open parentheses there. And this is going to have, that's my command, so I need to add a semicolon there, and now it's going to tell me to add unimplemented methods. And that's what I need. It's a little bit of a fooling around to get everything you need, but notice the open parentheses there, the closed parentheses, and a semicolon. Inside here I have an open bracket and a closed bracket. Then I have inside here my event. Now I'm going to take this args, it's a default name. I'm going to change this to my event, to call it event, just so that I have a more consistent name to it. Okay, and so now what's happening is when a key is pressed, I have that, and I can say, I'm going to actually put a switch here on event.getCode. That's going to be the key code for what I want. And we can use that. Since we're using the arrow keys, it's a little bit easier to use the key code. So now my switch event is going to be case up. And if I push the up arrow, I want to move up. And then I'm going to break. I'm going to show you how we're going to move that up in a second. Right now, I'm going to down, right. Okay. And so essentially what I want to do for this version of the game is create a simple command where I'm changing the x and the y. So if I go up, I want to essentially subtract 5 on the x and the y. Remember, in Java, the top left corner is my 0, 0. So as I go over to the right, I'm increasing x. As I go down, I'm increasing y. So going up is decreasing y. And so to do that, I'm going to use the command that I used up here, this icon relocate. So I'm going to say icon.relocate. I want to keep my x the same, and so I need to get the current x value. And to do that, I'm going to say icon.getLayoutX. That gives me my current x value. And now I want to change my y. So I'm going to say icon.getLayoutY, and I want to decrease y, and let's decrease it by 5. On there, and then I get my break. I'm just going to copy this whole line and paste it down. Because the changes are relatively small. So here for down, I'm going to add 5. For left and right, I'm going to leave my y alone. For left, I'm going to go -5, and for y, I'm going to go +5. Or sorry, for the right. Okay. So now I should be able to have this. I should be able to handle my event as I go. Try that out. Now, again, as I hit the key, you can see he jumps 5 spots everywhere I go. If I push and hold it, he kind of goes on his own. And that's fine. If I push it left and right together, I kind of get a little diagonal, but it's not the smoothest thing yet. And so we're going to actually look at a different way of implementing this. That'll make this a little bit smoother. It's a little bit more complicated, but it will help the gameplay quite a bit. Okay? So for right now, I'm just going to comment these out so you can keep them there. And I'm going to redo these. So I'm going to say case up, again, a break afterwards. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually set a variable here. I'm going to say go up equals. I don't have it go up. I'm going to go bring those and create them up here. So I'm going to create Boolean go up, go down, go left, oops, commas. Okay. So go up is true. Let me go copy this over. Down, left, and go right. All right, so I'm setting those to true, and you'll see how we're going to use that in a second. Now I also need to basically say, okay, when I release the key, I need to set those back to false. So I need to create another event, and this is going to be set on key released, and it's going to be just like the one above. And handler event, and I can say it's. I'm going to change this to event. I'm going to actually just copy the switch. What I'm going to do though is when these are released, I'm going to set them to false. Essentially, while I'm pushing the button down, I have a variable called go up, go down, go left, go right, set, and when I release that key, it releases the value being set. Now I need to put them into motion. And the way I'm going to do this is with an animation timer. The way the animation timer works is it basically works on the clock and automatically updates the scene on a regular basis. So it works well for what we're looking for, and we're going to use it quite a bit with game making types of things. So I need to create a new animation timer. So animation timer, we'll call it timer equals new. I'm going to actually, when I create it, I'm going to put, notice I put the there, import animation timer from FX, and I also am going to finish that off with a unimplemented method. And so basically this handle method is what happens every time I tick over. This is what I'm going to do. So what I want to do is essentially look and see what my current X position is, what my current Y position is, and then change them depending on which keys are pressed. So I'm going to start this by getting a double, which is going to be my current X and Y position. So I'm going to call it current X equals icon dot get layout X. You can notice it's a double, not an integer. Double Y equals icon dot Y. Okay. I want to change each of these depending on the buttons pressed. So I'm going to say if go up, then I can essentially take current Y. And I want to subtract a delta off of this. And I don't actually have a delta yet, so let's put this in here. We'll create it as a double. So call it double delta equals, and let's go with 4 for right now. Current Y minus delta, because again I'm going up, I'm subtracting off of my current Y. oops, current y equals or minus equals. And I'm going to just copy these down. Go down, plus, go left is actually a minus equals on my x, plus equals, that's going to be my go right. Okay. So now what this is doing is every time it ticks through, it's going to look and it's going to see if these are set. If I'm pushing a key down, it's going to change my Y position. Now this sets the value changed to actually implement it. I do need one more thing. I need to put my icon relocate. Relocate, and I'm going to my current X and my current Y, which is actually my Y based on what it is. Okay, so I created the timer. Now in order to get this timer to run, I need to start the timer. So I called it timer. I'm going to say timer.start. That's it. And this should finish off what I need. Now again, if I push it, you'll see it's a lot smoother motion. I can push diagonally. Just a lot better motion. And the animation is going to be important too as we start to add things in there, other pieces that are moving around. Okay, but this finishes what we want to talk about here, and we'll pick up with more of this another time.